There's been a lot of articles recently on renting. I saw the one by journalist Janice Lim, moving out at age 32, $1,100 a month for a room in Tiong Bahru. Right, I also saw the article on Property Guru website. Fresh graduate to be, 23-year-old, renting for 2,200 a month. One bedroom private condo near Outram Park MRT. Right, I also saw the video about how she went apartment hunting and negotiating with the landlord. So recently there seems to be a lot of these kind of articles where people are thinking about moving out, renting a place on their own. And I don't know, the sentiment towards landlords seems to be like the landlords are all rich assholes who like just want to suck up as much money from you as possible. And they seem to be like just earning a lot of money from the condo, which I think is not true at all. In fact, I would argue that rent property investment is really not as lucrative as it appears to be, not as lucrative as it was maybe 20 years ago. So I just want to really share some of the how much you're expecting to spend as a landlord of condo based on my own experience. Okay, so this is the option to purchase. 371 Beach Road, Citygate condo. My unit is on level 12. This was back in August 2014. So mine is a 2-bedder, 52 square meters in floor area. I have the floor plan over here. So that's about 560 square feet. This is not the dual key type. Okay, so purchase price just over $1 million. This can be broken down into 20% initial down payment. So initial down payment you need to give 200,000. 5% is a booking fee. Okay, but anyway, the initial down payment has to be 20%. So that's just nice, about 200,000. And that makes the remaining loan amount, which I had to get from OCBC mortgage loan, that's about 800,000. Alright, so I have the details of the OCBC loan here. So this is all the way back in August 2004. I guess the interest rate was a lot higher then. So in summary, before the condo has been built, you don't pay as much interest rate at the start, and then over time you'll gradually increase to whatever the amount is. So this 30-year loan. Okay, so besides the yearly interest rates you see over here, I recall my family also had to put 300k fixed deposit with OCBC Bank for a period of 2 years. The first year had an interest rate of 0.9%, and the second year was some number lower than 0.9%. I can't remember the exact reason, but I mean, since I was really working from 2016, but I'm guessing it's some sort of collateral because my income during the first year of working was not sufficient, perhaps. So yeah, that is 300k, which is locked out with OCBC Bank, collecting this really, really low return. Towards the end of the 3-year lock-in period with OCBC Bank, I started to look on how to refinance my loan to lower the annual interest rate, and also because my income in the second and third year of employment was significantly higher than my first year. Right, so in 2019, I started looking around. Eventually, I went with UOB Bank. It was signed in December 2019, and the new loan with UOB took effect from May 2020. Right, so here are the details of the current UOB loan. So it has become 1.84% per annum. This is a flat interest rate. I chose that over the floating interest rate. If you recall, I remember right before I switched over to UOB, the OCBC interest rate was like 2.37% in annum, So from 2.37 to 1.84, that's really a significant amount of savings lah. So as of now, there's about 27 years left on this loan. Let's just pull out a calculator. So right now the outstanding loan amount is 752,000. Every year you're paying 1.84% interest rate, which is in annual. Every year I'm paying 13.8 thousand of just the interest, right? So every month 1154 as stated over here. So it's pretty, it sucks pretty hard because you're just every month I'm paying $3,045, but 1,154 goes to just the interest. So that's like a third of it, more than a third. Okay, moving on to some of the expenses. I've separated them into a one-time expense as well as an annual recurring expense. So there was the MCST, paid $2,000 on the 12th of December. And when you get your unit, it doesn't come with lights, it doesn't come with curtains or furniture. So my unit is partially furbished. Yeah. I didn't provide any furniture, beds and sofa, but I mean, if the tenant really wanted, I could provide that. What I did buy was $174 of lights, $53 installation fee, and 3 sets of curtains, which cost a total of $1,230. It's really expensive. I'm not entirely sure why it was that amount, but I mean, it's this day and night curtain that you see over here. So I guess it's supposed to be some kind of high class thing. You have 2 layers. The more translucent one is the day curtain you're supposed to use in the day, so it lets some light in, and the thicker one will block everything out lah. So let's just look at some photos. Yes, the very expensive curtains. Okay, view of the door. That's the door. You can actually see these 2 photos make up the entrance and the living room already. Yeah. So the lights are actually really nice. $100, $174. A view of the balcony. This is one of the bedrooms with the elevated floor. So yeah. These more one-time expenses. There were a few instances of lawyer fees being paid out. There was one in 2017, about $2,000 as well, and one that I could find later on was another $2,250 paid in 2019. So these all kind of add up. Eventually, you probably spend thousands and thousands on this kind of paperwork. So for recurring expenses, we can look at a section of my IRAS income tax statement. We have MCST, that's the condo maintenance. Every 3 months I'll receive a bill of about $12,200 for the condo maintenance. Property tax from the government, $2,400 an annum. Fire insurance, this only became a requirement after I switched over to the UOB loan. So in my 2020 statement, the fire insurance is 0, but it will be reflected from next year onwards. I also have death insurance with AIA, I guess. There's others here. So this means that in the event that I were to die suddenly, the insurer would cover the rest of my $700,000 mortgage. Okay. So if you're renting out the condo and use a property agent, so for me I used IRAS. They collect half a month of rental for every year of the rental lease. So if your rental agreement is 2 years, they actually collect 1 month of the rental. And on top of that, I have the annual interest rate from the bank mortgage loan. Currently mine's at 1.84% per annum. We saw it as 13,000 earlier. Over here it's reflected as 16,000 because this was a mixture of my OCBC and UOB one. Alright, so I have actually tabulated the numbers here. Rental return. My rental return is monthly $3,200 over 12 months. So that makes $38,000. $38,000 over here, gross rent. Alright, so you can see these are all the expenses. For a total of $26,000 actually. So I spend $26,000 a year, and my rental return is $38,400. Right, not including all the time you spend like going down, settling the paperwork, talking to your agent. Okay. And the other kind of the other financial return you can get is property appreciation. So if I bought the condo back in 2014, this was maybe 2014, it's hopefully worth more now. So right now we're in 2021. Sometime back, the listings were for about 1.2 million. 1.2. So hopefully it did appreciate. Otherwise, as you can see, there's really not much. Like how much do I actually earn, right? $12,400. Perhaps now we'll just do a quick comparison for property investment versus some of the other options I have over here. So if you consider the condo itself, from August 2014 it was worth $1 million. Now some of the transaction prices are 1.2. Let's just bump it up to 1.3 million. Right, and this actually cost me the initial down payment of about 200,000, and subsequently for a period of 2 years there was the fixed deposit of $300,000. So 2 years, and there's about 7 years here. Right, so the opportunity cost, you could have put that money into maybe one of these options, S&P index. August 2014, $200. Today, $412. So you would have actually doubled your money over here. If I put the $200,000 here, I would have $400,000 here as well. So it's a capital appreciation. For August 25 to 133. Wow, 25 to 133. So if I put the $200,000 in Apple stock, it would be worth 5 times the amount. So this should actually be $200,000, right? $200,000. Since it's appreciated a little, you would have to deduct all the expenses you saw. You want to sell the condo and pay off the loan instantly. There's also a penalty for that. If you're pushing it, yeah, 400,000. I think it's not great. Bitcoin, everyone's favorite. I mean, of course, kind of unrealistic. You wouldn't have put that amount into Bitcoin back in 2004, right? But let's say you did. It was $560. And today it is times 100. Times 55.66 over $560. You will have $19 million. That's pretty sick. So yeah, if you look at how much you've really earned from buying a condo, it's really not, it doesn't beat the stock market. So if you were to look at the opportunity costs here, rather than spending 200,000 to put the down payment on a condo, of which there was also a period of 2 years where I had 300k locked up, returning 0.9% and less. You could have put it into any one of these options. Brainless S&P index would also have given you pretty much the same amount. You see, compared to your condo right now, if I were to sell it, if I were ready to sell it for 1.3 million now, agent takes a fee, lawyer takes another fee. If I want to instantly pay off my 27-year loan, there's a penalty imposed by UOB for early repayment. So yeah, you subtract here and there, you subtract this, how much are you really left with, right? So which is why the return on a condo property investment is really not as much as people make it out to be, right? Especially the property agents who it's just in their benefit to have as many transactions come out as possible. I think it's also worth mentioning that being the owner of a private property makes you ineligible for HDBs, so no BTO, not even resale flats. You always hear about people who struck the BTO lottery, right? Like they managed to get a BTO in a good location and sold it off for a few $100,000 in profit a few years later. So opportunity cost of investments, we've covered that over here. So on the flip side, buying a property has been perceived as a rather safe investment, in the sense that I guess the drawdown is not as much during the bear market. So for instance, if prices were to drop in a condo, you probably wouldn't go more than 5 or 10%. But in stock market or Bitcoin, when things get rough, then the net worth could drop by maybe 50% even. So that might not be suitable for some investors. Lastly, thoughts on the rental situation, or the use that we were looking at earlier. I mean, I think it's not really up to us to dictate how they spend their money, right? It's not as though the money saved would have gone to us. You know, if the fresh grad, she didn't rent for 2,300, she wouldn't be spending on me either, right? So who really cares? From landlord point of view, yeah, I'll just leave it up to the market forces of supply and demand. If there are plenty of people looking at my property, then I feel like I can afford to, wait out, look for a tenant who is able to offer the price that I'm looking at, right? But of course, if there are no viewings, then after a while, it's better than leaving your property empty. So instead of charging $3,200, I might want to consider something lower, like $3,000. So that might actually be better than not renting out the property at all in the first place. But of course, more is better, right? We always want to earn more. So yeah, I guess that's come to the end of the video. Leave your comments and questions if you have any. Thanks.